My friend, there are moments in life when heaven begins to whisper louder than the noise of this world. When the Spirit of God begins to stir the hearts of those who have been waiting, praying, and believing for something divine. September 5th is not just another date on the calendar. It is a prophetic moment in time. Heaven is opening a door that no man can shut. Door of covenant, a door of divine union, a door of answered prayers. So, if you've been waiting for the promise, your heart has been aching for clarity, and if your faith has been tested in the waiting, God is saying, get ready. The door is about to open. September 5th is not just a date on the calendar. It carries a spiritual vibration, a divine frequency where heaven is declaring a shift. In every season, God marks moments of visitation, moments when what was invisible becomes visible, when promises long delayed begin to manifest. There are times when heaven remains silent and it feels as if nothing is moving. But then suddenly, something shifts in the unseen. That's what this season represents. It is not coincidence, it is divine alignment. The Spirit of God is moving pieces together that once seemed scattered. Hearts that were distant are being drawn close again. Paths that were unclear are now being illuminated by divine light. Heaven has issued a command, and when heaven speaks, earth responds. For some, this moment will be the answer to years of waiting and wondering. The delay you endured was not denial, was divine timing in motion. God has been aligning your heart, shaping your character, and preparing the right environment for what He promised you. Just like the farmer who waits for the rain after sowing seeds, you have been faithful, and now the rain is coming. September 5th is the announcement of breakthrough. It is the day when the soil of your waiting finally begins to produce fruit. Heaven has declared it, and the natural world will soon echo what has already been spoken in the spiritual realm. Every promise has its appointed time. Abraham waited, Joseph waited, Ruth waited, and their waiting brought forth fulfillment that could not have been produced prematurely. You, too, have been walking through a refining season where your faith has been tested, your patience stretched, and your hope questioned. Through it all, heaven never forgot your name. Angels have carried your prayers, your tears, your cries of, "When, Lord?" And now the answer has been released. September 5th symbolizes the opening of a prophetic door. It represents the moment when divine will and divine timing intersect. God is a God of order. When He moves, He doesn't move randomly. He sets times and seasons for His people. This is a season of alignment where the hearts of those chosen for divine covenant are being positioned to meet, reconnect, or recognize each other. Some will experience restoration, others a new beginning, but all will feel a holy stirring, a sense that something greater than themselves is unfolding. You might begin to notice peace where there was once turmoil, or clarity where confusion once reigned. That's the evidence that heaven's clock has struck the appointed hour. Heaven is saying, this is the time. Many who have been faithful in secret will now see public reward. The prayers that once seemed unanswered will suddenly manifest in ways that only God could orchestrate. The door that opens on September 5th is not only about marriage, it's about destiny. It's about walking into the fulfillment of God's promise for your life. Moment will reveal why certain seasons were dry and why certain people could not stay. God was not punishing you, was positioning you. Every no was leading you to his ultimate yes. Every delay was setting the stage for the divine timing that begins now. You must understand that heaven doesn't move according to human impatience, but divine purpose. When the clock of eternity strikes the right moment, nothing on earth can stop what God has planned. The same God who split the Red Sea and raised the dead is now preparing to open the door you've prayed for. The resistance you felt before was proof of the promise you carry. The greater the delay, the greater the destiny. Heaven has already decreed that this is the hour of release, the hour when the door swings wide for those who have waited with faith. September 5th marks the end of spiritual silence and the beginning of prophetic fulfillment. Before a new door can open, the old one must close, and that is exactly what heaven has been doing in this season. Many have felt the sting of loss, confusion, or sudden separation, not realizing that it was divine intervention at work. God has been closing doors you didn't have the strength to shut yourself. He has been ending conversations, cutting off connections, and breaking attachments that were never meant to carry you into the next chapter. At first, it feels painful, even unfair, but in time you come to understand that rejection is often God's redirection. He is not taking something from you, is clearing the path for something far greater. You cannot step into your covenant promise while still tied to the people or patterns that belong to your past. There are moments when God has to remove certain individuals from your life because they would have hindered your destiny. Some were sent for a season, not for a lifetime. They were part of your process, but not your promise. You may have thought they were the one, but heaven saw beyond what your eyes could perceive. God knew their heart, their motives, and their inability to walk with you into what He is preparing. So He allowed the distance, the silence, or the ending not to break you, but to protect you. Every closed door is a form of mercy. Every unanswered message, every relationship that faded away, every job or opportunity that slipped through your fingers, it all carried divine purpose. Heaven was saying, this is not your door. When God begins to close a door, it's a sign that a greater one is about to open. But many struggle during the in-between. The waiting room between what has ended and what is about to begin feels lonely, uncertain, and silent. Yet it is in that silence that God does His deepest work. He rebuilds your trust, heals the wounds of disappointment, and renews your vision so that when the right door opens, you will walk through it with confidence, not desperation. God does not want you to carry yesterday's pain into tomorrow's promise. That's why He insists on a clean break before a new beginning. You may not understand it now, but one day you will thank Him for the doors He closed, because you will see how they protected your destiny. Sometimes the old door is not a person, but a mindset. It can be the fear of being hurt again, the memory of failure, or the insecurity that whispers you are not enough. God is closing the door to those limiting beliefs as well, silencing the lies of the enemy and renewing your mind so you can receive love with freedom and truth. The heart that was once guarded by pain is being softened by grace. The person who once lived in fear is being strengthened by faith. The closing of the old door is both spiritual and emotional, a total reset of your soul so that you are no longer drawn to what drains you. Heaven cannot open a divine door until you release the counterfeit ones. The enemy will always try to offer imitation blessings, relationships that look promising but lack spiritual foundation, opportunities that seem golden but lead to compromise. God allows those doors to shut so that you don't settle for less than His best, teaching you to discern, to wait, and to trust that His timing is perfect. Every no is making room for a holy yes. Every goodbye is a setup for divine connection. The right person, the right opportunity, the right covenant, they are on the other side of this closing. You must let go with peace, not bitterness. What leaves your life under God's command was never yours to keep. The door you thought was your destiny was only a doorway to discovery, showed you what you want, what you value, and what you need to let go of. And now, as September 5th approaches, heaven is saying that the preparation is complete. The doors that needed to close have been sealed. The distractions have been silenced. The way is clear for the divine door to open. What once caused pain will soon make sense, for the closing was not the end. It was the beginning of everything God promised you. Before a covenant can be fulfilled, the heart must be prepared, and that is the sacred work heaven is doing in this season. Many are eager for marriage, praying for divine connection, longing for their God-ordained partner, yet few realize that the preparation begins within. God is not just preparing your spouse, He is preparing you. The waiting you've endured was not wasted time. It was the classroom of heaven. Every disappointment, every delay, every unanswered prayer was shaping your heart for something deeper than romance. It was shaping you for covenant. Marriage is not merely about finding the right person. It is about becoming the right person. Before you can love another in truth, you must allow God to teach you how to love with patience, forgiveness, and humility. Heaven is concerned with the condition of your heart. Many pray for a wedding, but God prepares for a union. He is more interested in your character than your comfort, more focused on your inner growth than your outer celebration. A covenant marriage requires spiritual maturity, and that comes through seasons of breaking and rebuilding. God has been purging pride, softening hearts hardened by betrayal, and healing the deep wounds left by rejection or fear. The pain you felt was not punishment, it was purification. You were being refined like gold, your faith tested, and your emotions sanctified. God has been removing bitterness, replacing it with compassion, removing impatience, replacing it with understanding, removing insecurity, replacing it with confidence in His timing. When God prepares someone for covenant, He begins with surrender, teaches you to release control, to stop chasing outcomes, and to trust His divine process. You learn to rest in the knowledge that what is meant for you cannot pass you by. In this process, begin to see yourself through His eyes, not as broken or forgotten, but as chosen and refined. The waiting season becomes sacred because it strips away the illusions of self, reliance, and replaces them with dependence on divine wisdom. God wants your love to flow from a healed heart, not a desperate one. The person who loves out of wholeness becomes a blessing. The one who loves out of emptiness becomes a burden. That is why heaven waits until you are ready in spirit, not just in status. Preparation is also about learning the language of covenant, sacrifice, service, and steadfastness. Love is not sustained by feelings, but by faithfulness. When storms come, and they will, the depth of your spiritual roots that will hold your union together. God allows certain trials in your single season to teach endurance, certain heartbreaks to teach discernment, certain delays to teach faith. You are being trained to handle the weight of love that will not waver under pressure. Heaven does not want you to enter marriage unprepared for its sacred responsibility. The person He is sending you is not just a companion, but a calling, someone whose destiny intertwines with yours for His greater purpose. Sometimes preparation feels lonely because heaven hides you for protection.